Oh, we're a bit sick, so we're sorry. Hi, welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely day. And I just had the idea to sort of go over a series of books that I've read recently and that I surprisingly enjoyed. And I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about it, but it also might just be me doing a lack of searching per se. But then the series is the You series. Yeah, I know there's the TV show and stuff, and I think there's going to be a third and a fourth season. It was going to be a fourth book, definitely. But as far as the fourth season, we'll see. But I bought these two books, because hence the matching covers, just on a whim. When I was moving to college with my dad, we were at this store that was like, it's going to business, so it was hella discounted, and there was books. Of course, I'm going to go look. And you know, I saw these books and they were like, I think they're like £3 like total, so like 2 for $3 or something, and I was just like, let's go for it. I liked the show. Hopefully the book will be interesting as well. Hopefully I'm not too scared, because I'm horrible with any horror or thrillers and stuff. I'm a very jumpy person. I already have anxiety, so like I don't need more to like keep me more on edge and stuff. We want to calm down, you know, not go the other way. So I had the books, I think, for like 6 months or something, like a horribly long amount of time. And I was just like, let's just read it. So I read the first one. It deals Joe. You first meet Joe in New York and stuff. He runs this little bookstore, and you sort of like, you're in his head, and it's very interesting, and he sort of falls for Beck and everything, and it's just him going through that with the relationship and everything, and I love it. So first one's very interesting, very new, very different. It's set in like 2014 or something, because I think that's when it's published, so it is a bit older, but there's still a lot that you get freaked out by. And then the second book, Hidden Bodies, takes place in LA, and you meet more people, Love and a couple other people and stuff, and like her family, and it's very interesting, because like I can't relate to New York, but I can relate more to LA, because that's same state, baby. So that's interesting. And then you know, shit hits the fan as well. This dude can't get a break. Very interesting. And then the third one came out 2 months ago. It's You Love Me, and this takes place in like a northwestern, so like island town near Portland. I forget the name, but it's very interesting. I sort of love this cover the most, and I loved this book the most. But sort of with all of them, it very much plays and exposes how bad the whole nice guy trope is, and you're sort of let into his brain, and you can see, even as he's murdering and stalking and controlling and manipulating these people, especially these people he's supposed to love, like you can see how he justifies it to himself, and how sort of like nice guys do that. We're like, oh, I asked you on a date, and you're sort of owed he's owed a date in return, or he's owed sex in return, or whatever. And you know, the whole thing of like, in his head he'll say stuff like, oh, you know, I like that red dress, and you're wearing that today just for me, like this is how much you want me. And I'm like, you haven't spoken to the girl more than 10 sentences, and you already think that like they want you in their bed. It's stuff like that. And so he uses the internet and old-fashioned stalking to stalk people and control them, and wedge himself into their lives. Any murder is not off the table for him. So if he needs you to get rid of one of your friends, he will do it. But he's also not perfect. So I guess it's sort of like, it just goes to show like how almost like lovable and like benign these guys can seem, but then under the surface they're full of like outdated thinkings, horrible ways of thinking, and just like tactics they're willing to use. And so definitely the first two books didn't freak me out as much. Well, I think in general this one freaked me out very uniquely because it's the first one I read of the series. But since it's almost it's like 8 years old, a lot of this stuff is more different now. So in my head it was more fake, you know. And then this one, he grows a bit more between the two, or at least tries to, and then but not necessarily in the best way per se. But even throughout the whole series, especially with the third book, you're almost cheering for him. You sort of catch yourself out at certain points of when he might get the girl, or he might first have a night with them, all of that. You almost are like happy for him, like, oh, we've won, like, you and the character. But like, just because you have had all the justifications, even if they're wrong, in your head, you sort of have to stop yourself and be like, oh my god, like, why am I glad for him? Why am I happy for him? And I was worried when I read the first 2 books. They are very similar in the writing style and sort of the premise and what happens. It's not bad, but I think I was just like, oh man, I don't know how much more I can take with reading a third book that is almost very similar again. And as I was reading the book, I'd like walk into the kitchen at my flat here, and I would just be like, oh my god, this dude, or maybe I'd be like, because it's so frustrating, because I could just actually talk to the people, or like got to know them in a genuine way, or was very honest and upfront. Like, half the things that happened to him wouldn't happen or be as bad, and yet like he does it to himself half the time, and yet his first thought is to blame other people, to make it their fault, make something they have to fix. He's never wrong, and people always do stuff to make him happy, sort of, you know, like if a girl's wearing a sweater or something, or like all this stuff. But I love this third book. There's a twist at the end that I haven't seen coming, and there is going to be a 4th book. Not confirmed, but on Goodreads, on the series, it says book 1, 2, 3, and has all these covers and stuff, and reviews and summaries. Then there's a 4th one, and it says untitled. So hopefully we get a 4th one, because of how it ended. I would be very sad if they leave it with this, because there's so much growth between these first 2 books and this one, and I love everything from the cover. Like, look at that pretty, I hate these covers on a side note, because no matter what, he's just staring at you, even back here, because it's the tiny one of this one, so he's always staring, which also, you know, good credit to them, because that's what he does in the book to the characters. Oh my god. But there's so much growth and development, and like everything from the writing style to the plot to how like the pace and like what happens in the book is so much better. It's so much more enjoyable, because also the character himself grows, Joe, and you can almost see how you can get a satisfactory ending with the 4th installment. Not necessarily he's going to get a happy ending, but there's just going to be one that you can be happy with, because with all of these books, there's a door open, like a back door open, to make a series, and that is what she's done, and I'm glad for it. And hopefully the show is more closer to the 3rd book, because the first book is very much playing on with the season 1. Season 2 is a bit different from the book 2. Hopefully the 3rd book, they bring a lot of that in. I'd be excited to watch that, even though I hate stuff like this. But so with each book, there's more of back door opened, and for more development for another book, for more stuff to happen. And now at the end of this book, he's going off to Europe. So hopefully he can almost get away from his old habits and old ways of thinking, and all those different traps and tools that he uses in a good or bad way. But he gets so close to stuff, and then his previous actions sort of come around and bite him in the butt. But it's such a good series, and I feel like it's an easy place to start for thrillers and like more like scary books like that. Because I'm you know, if I can get through it and find something enjoyable about it, but also this almost like secondary commentary on things, I feel like a lot of people would like this, and the show's been such a hit that why not delve into the books, because they are a little bit different, and you get more of his narration because you're stuck in his head, so you're sort of like, you should hate him, and if you were in anyone else's head you would, but since you're in his, oh, it's like you almost have to do a double take and sort of like ask yourself, why am I thinking this way? Why do I want him? Why do I want him to be happy? Why do I want him to have a satisfactory ending? Like all of these things, you know. And I do think that is more impactful and powerful to read a book from like the bad guy's perspective, especially when it has to deal with stuff like the nice guy in modern day dating and just how much information people put out there on the internet, and what they can sort of learn and do with that, and how that can be good but also like bad. But also he's just like, oh, I like books and stuff. He's like one of those pretentious like film school students, or those like pretentious readers who like read books but only read the classics and would never read one that's written after like 1950s or something. Like they have to be dead for 100 years before I read the book. Like, you know, those kind of snobs. And it's very good. It's very fun. I probably would just seem like I'm scrambled brained for, you know, what, 12, 13, whatever minutes. But I, again, thoroughly enjoyed it. If you want another series to read that's very easy read but also very different and enjoyable and a bit more modern, you can go here. But yeah, this probably makes no sense, but you know, I really liked it. I might go rewatch the show, maybe. I don't like rewatching or rereading stuff, but yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good rest of your day, good rest of your week whenever I see you next. And then if you liked it, comment your thoughts below, what you thought of the books and or the series, and if you're excited for the 4th book to come out whenever. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye. I also find it funny because Joe will do this thing when he's trying to sleep. He'll make up stories and stuff. And when I was reading the 1st or 2nd book, whenever that gets mentioned, probably the 1st book, I was saying that in one of my flatmates, Ailey, she does that as well when she's trying to sleep. She'll make up stories before she found out the world of audiobooks and how good that is for her trying to fall asleep and whatnot. She's just like, oh no, I can't be just like Joe. So that sort of freaked her out, but I find it really funny. So yeah, thought you guys would like to know that.